Welcome back to the channel, where USA digital old coins, hidden treasures, and incredible discoveries could change your life forever. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the Washington quarter dollar and uncovering some of the most talked about coins in American numismatic history. What if the old quarter sitting in your pocket, hidden in a coin jar, or forgotten in a family collection could be worth far more than just 25 cents? What if an ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be a rare historical treasure? In today's exciting episode, we're exploring the legendary Washington quarters from 1965, 1966, and 1967, the mysterious no-mint mark coins produced during one of the most dramatic periods in United States coin history. These coins represent the historic transition from America's silver coinage era to the modern clad coinage system, creating a chapter of mystery, collector excitement, and hidden treasures that continues to fascinate collectors around the world. We'll reveal the shocking history behind these iconic quarters, explain why certain examples with unusual colors, rare mint errors, or extraordinary preservation can attract serious collector attention, and uncover the incredible stories that have inspired generations of treasure hunters to search through their pocket change. From hidden transitional silver strikes to rare minting mistakes and valuable collector specimens, you'll discover why these coins remain among the most discussed Washington quarters ever produced. Could a dirty, worn, or seemingly ordinary quarter actually hide a remarkable secret? Could a forgotten coin from 1965, 1966, or 1967 be worth hundreds, thousands, or even more to the right collector? The answer might surprise you. That's why before you spend any old Washington quarter, you'll want to watch this video until the very end. Today, we're counting down the top 4 most fascinating Washington quarter discoveries connected to the historic no-mint mark era. We'll explore their history, rarity, collector demand, market value, and the incredible stories that continue to make these coins legendary among collectors and investors alike. So grab your coin collection, check your pocket change, and prepare to enter the exciting world of hidden treasures, rare discoveries, and American coin history. You never know, the next coin we discuss could be sitting in your collection right now. Let's begin with our first extraordinary Washington quarter, the 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter, the coin that ended the Silver Age of America. Imagine holding in your hand a small piece of metal that represents one of the most dramatic moments in the history of American money. At first glance, the 1965 Washington quarter without a mint mark appears ordinary. It looks like countless other quarters that have passed through the hands of millions of people over the past 6 decades. Yet behind this familiar appearance lies a story of economic crisis, government decisions, hidden treasures, collector excitement, and one of the most important transformations ever experienced by the United States Mint. For more than 100 years, American citizens trusted silver coins as a symbol of financial strength and national prosperity. Silver dimes, quarters, and half-dollars circulated throughout the country, carrying not only monetary value but also intrinsic precious metal content. Generations of Americans grew up believing that silver coins represented stability, tradition, and wealth. Few could have imagined that this era would suddenly come to an end during the 1960s. During the early 1960s, the United States faced a growing economic problem. The international market price of silver continued rising year after year. As silver became more valuable, Americans began removing silver coins from circulation and storing them in private collections, banks, and homes. Citizens realized that the metal inside their coins was becoming increasingly valuable. As a result, coin shortages began appearing throughout the nation, creating significant challenges for businesses, banks, and government institutions. The United States government soon recognized that an extraordinary solution was required. Congress responded by passing the historic Coinage Act of 1965, legislation that forever changed the composition of American coinage. This decision marked the end of an era that had defined American money for generations. Beginning in 1965, the traditional 90% silver quarter would disappear from everyday circulation and be replaced by a new copper-nickel-clad composition. The Washington quarter selected for this historic transition already possessed a remarkable legacy. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The Washington Quarter quickly became one of the most beloved and recognizable coins in American history. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin featured the portrait of America's first president and symbolized patriotism, national identity, and historical continuity. The year 1965 represented a turning point unlike any other in the history of the Washington Quarter. For the first time in more than 3 decades, Americans received quarters that looked silver but contained no silver at all. Instead, the new quarters were manufactured using a copper core surrounded by outer layers of copper-nickel alloy. This innovative composition preserved the familiar appearance of the coin while dramatically reducing production costs. Adding to the mystery surrounding the 1965 quarter was the government's decision to remove mint marks entirely. Between 1965 and 1967, the United States Mint eliminated mint marks from circulating coins in an attempt to discourage collectors from hoarding newly issued currency. As a result, every standard Washington quarter produced during 1965 carries no mint mark whatsoever, creating a unique and historically significant chapter in American numismatic history. As these new quarters entered circulation, Americans reacted with a mixture of curiosity, concern, and excitement. Millions of citizens carefully examined their pocket change, separating older silver quarters from the newly introduced clad pieces. This nationwide search for silver coins became one of the largest treasure hunts in American history. As ordinary individuals attempted to preserve what they believed would soon become valuable historical artifacts. Although billions of clad quarters eventually circulated throughout the United States, the transition year of 1965 remained especially fascinating to collectors. The reason was simple: whenever major changes occur in coin production, the possibility of unusual errors and transitional pieces increases dramatically. Collectors began searching tirelessly for examples that differed from standard production. One of the most extraordinary discoveries associated with the 1965 Washington Quarter involves transitional silver errors. During the transition from silver to clad coinage, a very small number of silver planchets intended for earlier production occasionally remained inside minting equipment. When these leftover silver blanks were accidentally struck with 1965 quarter dies, they produced some of the rarest and most valuable modern American coins ever discovered. These accidental silver transition pieces became legendary among collectors because they represented a direct connection between 2 different eras of American coinage. Unlike ordinary 1965 quarters, these extraordinary examples contain 90% silver and possess tremendous historical significance. Their rarity transformed them into some of the most sought-after modern American coins in existence. Beyond transitional silver strikes, collectors have also discovered fascinating mint errors involving the 1965 Washington Quarter. Off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and various die errors continue attracting attention from specialists throughout the world. Such errors occur when the minting process experiences unusual circumstances, creating coins unlike any ordinary examples produced during regular operations. The process of manufacturing coins requires enormous pressure, precise engineering, and remarkable consistency. Massive minting presses strike thousands of coins every hour, applying tremendous force to create detailed images and inscriptions. Despite extraordinary quality control procedures, rare mistakes occasionally escape detection. These errors become valuable precisely because they represent unusual moments in the history of coin production. The question most people ask remains simple: what is the value of a 1965 no mint mark Washington Quarter today? The answer depends entirely upon the specific coin involved. Most ordinary circulated examples remain worth their face value or only a small premium above face value. However, coins preserved in exceptional condition or possessing unusual characteristics may command significantly higher prices. Professional grading organizations play a crucial role in determining market value. Expert numismatists carefully examine a coin's preservation, strike quality, luster, originality, and overall appearance. Coins achieving the highest certification grades become increasingly scarce and desirable, resulting in substantial premiums among collectors competing for the finest known examples. Stories about valuable coins continue inspiring treasure hunters throughout the world. Tales of rare quarters discovered in old collections, inherited estates, and forgotten coin jars fuel the imagination of millions of people. While extraordinary discoveries remain rare, history demonstrates that remarkable treasures occasionally emerge from the most unexpected places. Perhaps the greatest significance of the 1965 Washington quarter lies not in its monetary value, but in its historical importance. This remarkable coin represents the exact moment when the United States abandoned traditional silver coinage and entered the modern era of monetary production. Few coins can claim such profound historical significance. Every surviving 1965 quarter serves as a miniature historical artifact, carrying within it the story of economic transformation, technological innovation, and changing public attitudes toward money. Whether discovered in circulation, preserved in collections, or inherited through generations, each example represents a tangible connection to one of the most important transitions in American numismatic history. Today, collectors continue examining every 1965 Washington quarter with excitement and anticipation. The possibility of discovering a rare transitional silver strike, a valuable mint error, or an exceptional specimen ensures that interest in this historic coin remains stronger than ever. Although most examples will never create instant millionaires, the dream of hidden treasure continues inspiring collectors around the world. The 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter remains more than a simple piece of currency. It stands as a powerful reminder that even ordinary objects can possess extraordinary stories, historical significance, and the ability to capture the imagination of generations. For collectors, historians, and dreamers alike, the search continues. Next up, the 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter, the mysterious coin from America's greatest monetary transition. Imagine reaching into an old box hidden in the corner of an attic and discovering a worn Washington quarter covered with decades of dust, scratches, and history. At first glance, it appears to be nothing more than ordinary pocket change. Yet this small piece of metal carries within it one of the most fascinating stories in the history of American money. The 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter emerged during a period of uncertainty, economic change, and national transformation that forever altered the way Americans viewed their currency. To understand the significance of the 1966 Washington quarter, one must first return to a time when American coins contained real precious metals. For generations, United States quarters were struck from 90% silver, giving them not only monetary value but also substantial intrinsic value. Americans trusted silver coinage because it represented wealth, stability, and national strength. Silver quarters circulated throughout the country for decades, becoming an essential part of daily life and an enduring symbol of American prosperity. During the early 1960s, however, the economic landscape of the United States began changing rapidly. The global price of silver increased dramatically, causing the metal content of silver coins to become increasingly valuable. Americans soon realized that the silver inside their coins could eventually become worth more than the face value stamped on them. As a result, millions of citizens began removing silver coins from circulation and storing them in collections, banks, and private holdings. This nationwide hoarding created a severe coin shortage. Businesses struggled to obtain enough change to operate efficiently. Banks faced increasing pressure, and the United States government recognized that immediate action was necessary. The solution came in the form of one of the most important legislative acts in American monetary history, the Coinage Act of 1965. This historic legislation permanently transformed American coinage. Beginning in 1965, the United States Mint eliminated silver from dimes and quarters intended for circulation. Instead, these coins would be manufactured using a modern clad composition consisting of a copper core covered by layers of copper-nickel alloy. The result was a coin that maintained the appearance of silver while dramatically reducing production costs. The Washington quarter chosen to carry this historic transformation already possessed a remarkable legacy. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the Washington quarter had become one of America's most iconic coins. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, its portrait of America's first president symbolized patriotism, leadership, and national identity. The year 1966 marked the second full year of America's new clad coinage system. During this period, the United States Mint continued its unusual policy of removing mint marks from circulating coins. Officials believed that eliminating mint marks would discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on their place of manufacture. Consequently, every standard Washington quarter struck in 1966 lacks a mint mark, creating a distinctive chapter in American numismatic history. As millions of these quarters entered circulation, Americans carefully examined their change, hoping to discover hidden silver coins or unusual varieties. The search for valuable coins became a national obsession. Families searched through jars of change, businesses examined cash registers, and collectors scrutinized every coin they encountered. This nationwide treasure hunt transformed ordinary pocket change into objects of mystery and excitement. Although the standard 1966 quarter contained no silver, collectors soon realized that transitional periods in coin production often produce extraordinary surprises. During times of significant manufacturing change, rare errors occasionally escape detection, creating some of the most valuable and historically important coins ever discovered. One of the greatest dreams among collectors involves discovering a transitional silver error. Such coins were accidentally struck using leftover silver planchets intended for earlier issues. Because these pieces combine the date of the new clad era with the precious metal composition of the old silver era, they represent extraordinary historical artifacts and command substantial attention whenever authenticated examples appear. In addition to transitional silver strikes, the 1966 Washington quarter has become known for other fascinating mint errors. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, doubled dies, and other production anomalies continue attracting the interest of collectors worldwide. These unusual coins demonstrate that even the most advanced manufacturing systems occasionally produce extraordinary mistakes. The process of producing coins requires remarkable precision. Massive presses strike thousands of coins every hour using tremendous pressure. Under such conditions, even the smallest irregularity can create a unique and highly collectible coin. These minting errors provide valuable insight into the complex technology and engineering employed by the United States Mint. The market value of a 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter depends entirely on its specific characteristics. Most circulated examples remain worth only their face value or a modest premium. However, coins preserved in exceptional condition can command significantly higher prices due to their scarcity and desirability among collectors. Professional coin grading services play a critical role in determining value. Experts carefully examine a coin's strike quality, preservation, surface condition, luster, and originality. Coins receiving the highest certification grades become increasingly rare and desirable, sometimes selling for impressive amounts in competitive auctions. Stories about valuable coins discovered in old collections continue capturing the imagination of millions of people worldwide. Although sensational headlines sometimes claim that ordinary quarters can create instant millionaires, experienced numismatists understand that true value depends on rarity, historical significance, collector demand, and professional authentication. Nevertheless, the excitement surrounding the 1966 Washington quarter continues because history has repeatedly demonstrated that extraordinary discoveries are possible. Throughout the history of American coin collecting, rare varieties and unexpected errors have emerged from ordinary circulation, proving that remarkable treasures occasionally remain hidden in plain sight. Perhaps the greatest significance of the 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter lies in the story it tells about America itself. This coin represents a period of economic transformation, technological innovation, and national adaptation. It symbolizes the moment when the United States permanently abandoned circulating silver coinage and embraced a new monetary era. Every surviving 1966 Washington quarter carries with it the history of that remarkable transition. Whether found in pocket change, inherited collections, or forgotten containers, each example serves as a miniature historical artifact connecting modern collectors with one of the most important Periods in American monetary history. Today, millions of collectors continue searching through their coins, hoping to discover a rare error, an exceptional specimen, or perhaps even a legendary transitional silver strike. While most examples remain ordinary coins, the possibility of extraordinary discovery ensures that interest in the 1966 Washington quarter remains as strong as ever. The 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter may not transform every owner into a millionaire overnight. Yet its historical importance, enduring mystery, and connection to one of America's greatest monetary transformations guarantee that it will remain one of the most fascinating coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Next up, the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter, the final chapter of America's silver coin revolution. Imagine discovering an old, worn quarter hidden in a forgotten drawer, covered in scratches, dirt, and decades of history. To most people, it would appear to be nothing more than ordinary pocket change. But to a collector, historian, or treasure hunter, the 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter represents one of the most fascinating periods in the entire history of American money. It tells a story of economic crisis, national change, hidden treasures, and the dramatic end of an era that had defined American coinage for generations. For more than a century, silver coins circulated throughout the United States as symbols of wealth, stability, and national confidence. Americans trusted silver coinage because it possessed both monetary value and intrinsic precious metal value. Quarters, dimes, and half dollars containing 90% silver passed through countless hands, becoming an essential part of everyday life and one of the most recognizable forms of currency in the world. However, during the early 1960s, the United States government faced a growing crisis. The international price of silver increased steadily, making the silver content of American coins increasingly valuable. Citizens quickly realized that the metal contained within their coins could eventually become worth more than the face value stamped on the coins themselves. As a result, millions of Americans began hoarding silver coins, removing them from circulation and storing them in homes, banks, and private collections. The consequences of this nationwide hoarding became severe. Banks struggled to maintain adequate coin supplies, businesses experienced shortages of change, and the government recognized that dramatic action was necessary. In response, Congress passed the historic Coinage Act of 1965, permanently changing the composition of American coinage and ending one of the longest traditions in United States monetary history. Beginning in 1965, the United States Mint stopped producing silver quarters for general circulation. Instead, a new copper-nickel-clad composition was introduced. This innovative design used a copper center surrounded by outer layers of copper nickel alloy, creating a coin that maintained the appearance of silver while eliminating the expense associated with precious metal production. The Washington quarter selected to represent this monumental change already possessed a rich and distinguished history. Introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, the Washington quarter had become one of the most beloved and recognizable coins in American history. The portrait designed by John Flanagan symbolized American leadership, patriotism, and historical continuity. By 1967, the United States had entered the third and final year of its experiment with mint mark removal. Government officials believed that removing mint marks from circulating coins would discourage collectors from hoarding new issues. Consequently, every standard Washington quarter produced during 1967 carried no mint mark whatsoever. This decision created one of the most unusual chapters in the history of modern American coinage. The year 1967 became especially significant because it marked the final stage of America's transition away from circulating silver coinage. Millions of Americans continued searching through their pocket change, hoping to discover forgotten silver coins or valuable errors hidden among ordinary circulation pieces. Coin collecting transformed from a simple hobby into a nationwide treasure hunt involving families, businesses, and collectors across the country. Despite the enormous number of 1967 quarters produced, collectors soon recognized that periods of major change often create opportunities for extraordinary discoveries. Whenever mints alter compositions, procedures, or production methods, the possibility of unusual errors increases. These rare mistakes eventually become some of the most fascinating and valuable coins in numismatic history. Among the most legendary discoveries associated with the 1967 quarter are transitional silver errors. During the changeover from silver to clad coinage, a small number of silver planchets from earlier production occasionally remained within minting equipment. When struck using 1967 quarter dies, these accidental creations produced some of the rarest and most historically important quarters ever discovered. The existence of transitional silver quarters continues inspiring collectors around the world. These extraordinary coins represent a direct connection between America's silver coinage past and its modern monetary system. Their rarity, historical importance, and fascinating origin stories have transformed them into legendary treasures among serious collectors. Beyond transitional silver strikes, collectors have identified numerous other mint errors involving the 1967 Washington quarter. Off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and other manufacturing anomalies continue attracting significant attention from numismatists. These errors demonstrate that even the most sophisticated manufacturing operations occasionally produce unexpected results. The process of coin production requires remarkable precision and enormous mechanical force. Minting presses strike thousands of coins every hour using tremendous pressure. Under such conditions, even minor irregularities can create dramatic variations that become highly desirable among collectors. Each error coin tells a unique story about the complex technology and engineering behind American coin production. The actual value of a 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter depends entirely upon its characteristics and condition. Most circulated examples remain worth their face value or a small premium. However, examples preserved in exceptional condition may command substantially higher prices due to their rarity and collector demand. Professional grading services play an essential role in determining value. Experts carefully evaluate a coin's preservation, strike quality, luster, originality, and overall appearance. Coins receiving the highest certification grades become increasingly scarce and desirable, sometimes achieving remarkable auction results. Stories of valuable coin discoveries continue captivating collectors worldwide. Tales of rare coins discovered in inherited collections, forgotten jars, and old family possessions inspire millions of people to examine their own collections. Although extraordinary discoveries remain uncommon, history repeatedly demonstrates that remarkable treasures occasionally emerge from the most unexpected places. The greatest significance of the 1967 Washington quarter extends beyond monetary value. This coin represents the final chapter of one of the most important transformations in American monetary history. It symbolizes the completion of America's transition away from circulating silver coinage and the beginning of a new era in coin production. Every surviving 1967 quarter serves as a historical artifact documenting this extraordinary period of change. Whether found in circulation, inherited from family members, or preserved in collections, each example carries with it the story of economic transformation, technological advancement, and national adaptation. Today, collectors continue examining 1967 quarters with excitement and anticipation. The possibility of discovering a rare mint error, a transitional silver strike, or an exceptional specimen ensures that interest in this historic coin remains strong. While most examples will never create instant fortunes, the excitement of discovery and the connection to history continue inspiring collectors around the world. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter remains more than a simple 25-cent coin. It represents the end of America's silver coinage era, the beginning of modern coin production, and the enduring human fascination with hidden treasures. Its story continues to capture the imagination of collectors, historians, and dreamers alike, ensuring that this remarkable coin will remain an important part of American numismatic history for generations to come. See you in the next video.